Hello all, welcome to BVLSI online lecture series. Today's topic which we are going to discuss is 4 cross 4 NOR based ROM array, and we will build up that circuit in LT Spice environment. So let us directly start with the topic. So this is a overview of 4 cross 4 bit NOR based ROM array. So this is the array. These four are N PMOS transistors with the gate terminal grounded. So these PMOS transistors are always on. And we have this row and the columns concept. So we have a row from R1, R2, R3, and R4, which is coming from the address decoder. So basically, you have a 2 is to 4 address decoder. So these are the addresses which are taken from there. And a column you have from C1, C2, C3, C4. So what happens is if you have the data that is 0 over here, that is in C1 place, 0, 1, 0, 1. So wherever there is a 0, you have to add a NMOS transistor to it like this. So that's how it has been done. So here it is added, and the C3 position also it is added. Similarly, in the for the second case, that is for R1, R2, R3, R4, that is 0, 1, 0, 0. The column positions will be around, as you can see over here, 0, 0, 1, 1. So you have two transistors over here wherever we have a 0. So basically the simple concept is you have to add a NMOS transistor wherever we have a 0. So this data can be dynamic. It can be, changed at various, varieties of changes can happen here. So you can have a binary data or you can have a decimal data which can be converted into binary data. So let us, without wasting any time, let us directly implement this in LT Spice environment. So let me minimize this and keep it here ready with me. And in the meanwhile, let us open the LT Spice environment. Okay, so we'll go for new schematic and we will directly start building up the circuitry. So let me just maximize this. Yeah. So I'll go to the library and I'll select PMOS 4. Okay. So PMOS 4, I have placed it in the screen. So basically I have to rotate this because I will inform you what I am doing actually. Let me just maximize for a moment. So that's what I was about to tell you all. Let me just place this onto the screen. Okay, I can copy this like this and again place it onto the screen. So what I was about to say was in LT Spice environment, if we have a PMOS transistor, so PMOS transistor, the source terminal is always connected to VDD, and here we have a substrate terminal will also be connected to VDD, and the drain terminal is connected down. So that's why we have reversed this, the symbol here. So we have rotated it and mirrored image it. So that's why you also have to do it carefully. Now all their gate terminals are grounded. So let us do that. So what we will do is we'll take a wire and ground their gate terminal like this, one by one. We'll do it systematically and we'll go slow so that we don't make any error over here. Okay, so everything is grounded now. I have to just connect the ground symbol. That is this, I've connected it over here. Now all the source terminals of the PMOS transistors are connected to VDD. So I will take this wire, connect to all the source terminals of the PMOS transistors. like this. So, and I'll connect this to a source, which is a VCC source. So that I'll just in a moment I'll make the connection. Okay. So what I will do is I'll select a voltage source and give around 5 volts to it. So this is my voltage source. I'll do the connections over here, connect it to the ground, and let me label this as VDD. And we can also label this as VDD now. Let me give this around 5 volts. So this is around 5 volts here. So 5 volts is applied over here as we have to apply the VDD over here, as you can see on your right hand side of your screen. Now also we have to do something about the substrate terminal. So substrate terminal of all the PMOS transistors will also go to the VDD. So I am connecting all the substrate terminals of all the PMOS transistors to VDD terminal. Okay, so the last one over here. So this substrate terminal will also go to the VDD terminal. So far I have already made up. Let me just, yeah. So so far I have connected the upper connections now. Now for the lower connections, I have to extend this with a wire. So I'll take a wire and extend parallelly down. How long we have to go down, we will see shortly when we do the connection. But right now we'll do this and keep so that the circuit design is looking familiar as we have seen on the right hand side of the screen and given in the PDF. So we'll drag this line and keep it ready for a usage. Okay, so it looks fine and we will label it later. But right now what we need to do is we need to connect the now we need to bring in the NMOS transistors now. So for the NMOS transistor, we'll go to library again and we'll type NMOS 4. And this is the NMOS transistor. We'll place it somewhere around here and a little upper, basically perhaps. Yeah. So somewhere around here we'll place it. And let me just maximize it. So all the NMOS transistors, we will have the substrate terminal being connected to the ground and the source terminal is also connected to the ground. So let us go ahead and do this and then we will prototype this. So here we have the ground terminal over here like this and the source terminal is also connected to the ground. So we will connect the source terminal also to the ground. Okay, so our NMOS transistor is ready. Now this NMOS transistor we will prototype it. So let me just minimize the screen. So I'll go to this. This is copy. I'll select the transistor. I'll drag it and wherever I want to place, I'll just place it. So similarly, we will do this exercise for the remaining cases. So for the second case, we have one transistor over here and another transistor over here. Yeah. And for the next case, we have one transistor. Oh, so let it copy. So we are prototyping the circuit now. And the next transistor is over here. And for the next case, we have the transistor over here and NMOS transistor over here. So far we have connected all the NMOS transistors. There will be a slight requirement of extending this line slightly, only a little slightly, not needed so much. Okay, let it be. We'll name them a little later. A slight extension is needed so that we will clearly distinguish. Let us do that. So what I will do is I'll fast forward the video a little bit. Okay, so now we are ready to proceed. We will join the first two transistors over here, that is to the row 1. So we'll take the wire and connect. I'll connect one wire over here and do it out. So this will be my row 1, where I've tied the gate terminals of the NMOS transistor. So this is my row 1. Similarly, I'll do the connections for the drain terminal over here. So the drain terminal of these MOSFET is connected to the column 1. So this NMOS is connected to the column 1 over here like this. And this NMOS is connected to the column 3. So the first set is complete, and let us label this as R1. So I've labeled it as R1. Okay. Now similarly, we will do the other connection. So let us check for the second case. Second case, we will have to connect it to the second column over here and the next transistor over here. And about the gate terminals, well, they have to be tied together. So let me just expand this so that it will be easier to connect. Okay, let me extend this out over here. Yeah. So now I'll connect a wire from here to here. And let me call this as R2. So this is my second row. Now we'll go to the third case. So for the third case, I think we have selected double the MOSFET. So we have to delete it, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a problem. We have selected double MOSFET. So we will have to remove it. Yeah. Now it's all proper. Now they are all single MOSFETs only. We have it in the circuitry. Yeah. So we will connect the third row now. So for the third row, this transistor is connected over here to the column number 3. We are connecting this transistor and now this transistor. And here also we are connecting it here to the column number 2. And both the gate terminals are tied together and taken out. So this is the row 3, third row. And here also we have a connection like this. And this we can label it as R3, and I'll place it over here. So similarly, we will complete the connections for the fourth row. So for the fourth row, we have these two transistors. So I'll connect it over here, and this I'll connect it over here. And the gate terminal, I'll take it out. So this is the gate terminal, that is the fourth row. I'll take it out over here, and I'll do the connection at the gate of this transistor also. So I'll take a wire and I connect it over here. So all the connections are almost over. Let me just delete this and connect it again so that a connection is made to this wire. Yeah. So whenever there is a dot over here, I'll expand it and show it to you. Whenever there is a dot over here, then only the connection is made. So please remember that. And I'll label it this as R4 and click on OK. Now similarly, I'll label these as column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. That is C1. So this I'll label it as C1 over here. So this is my C1. This is my C2, C3, and C4. Let us maximize this and do it. So I'll right click over here and I call it as C2. I'll right click over here and I'll call it as C3. And again, I right click over here and I call it as C4. So my entire circuit is almost ready. Now we are just waiting for the power supply. That is the supply which we have to give it to the column, that is the row 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is my column which I have to, this is my row and column which I have to implement. Oh, sorry. So that's what I need to implement. So I have to select my input source or input pulse in such a way that this is satisfied. So let us start. What I will do is I'll take the voltage source from here. So I'll type here voltage and I'll click on OK and I place my source over here. And I'll maximize this part of the circuitry so that it's visible. Now I'll wire it and then I'll connect it to the ground. Now I have to give the source name. I'll give it the name as R1. So this R1 is my input pulse. So I'll right click on the pulse, right click on the source and go to advanced and I have to select a pulse over here. So it should be a 0 to 5 going pulse having amplitude of 0 to 5. Delay, let the delay be around zero point 0.5 millisecond. Rise time and fall time I can give it as around 10 pico. And on time, let's say we can give it around 2.5 milli. Okay, so we can give this around as 2.5 milli, and the period we can give it around 8 milliseconds. And I'll click on OK. So here we have it. Now we have to give this R1 has to be 1, rest of the time your R1 has to be 0. So that's what I have to give over here. So this R1 has to be 1 for first duration, whereas for all the other columns we have it to be, for all the other rows it has to be 0. And R2 when it is on, it is to be only on, while R1, R2, R1, R3 and R4 should be off. So we have to design this in such a way. So I will quickly prototype it and I will, yeah, so this is the second. This is R2. So R2, R1, R3 and R4 should be independently 1. So this I'll give it now as 0. And now this I can call it as, earlier I have given it as 2.5. So this is not 0. This will start from around 3 milliseconds. And this will start from 5.5 milliseconds. Now why 5.5? Because this will end at 3 milli. So hence we have given after 3 delay, and this will go up till T on has to be 2.5 only actually. Let it be 2.5 only. And let the time period be around 10 milliseconds in the first case also. So let this be around 10 milliseconds only. Okay, we'll prototype two other signals now. That is R3 and R4. So we'll again maximize this part. So we are into R3 now. So let me change this now. So we have to start from, so this was ending at 5.5. So the delay has to be around 5.5 milli, and this will be 2.5 and 10. So that has to be same. Then we'll go for R4. We'll right click and change it to R4. So where does the R4 start from? So this is 5.5 plus 2.5. So that will be around 8. So this will start from 8 milli, the delay, and this will be same. And we click on OK. So here we are. I'll explain in detail R1, R2, and R3 and R4 from the waveform. But right now the circuit is ready, and just a few labels. So let me just fast forward this video so that it is visible. So what I will do is in this, I will label this as R1, R2, R3 and R4 which are visible. For example, I'll show you one case and then later on I'll fast forward. So I'll comment on this and I'll call it R1. Since it is not visible, I'll make it around 2.5. Okay. So this way I will prototype everything. Let me do it here only. So this is my R2. This we are doing so that we get a feel of the circuitry, and it's really easy to evaluate then. So this is similarly my C1. I can change it easily by right clicking it. So now don't worry about the name. We are just prototyping it. Okay, so now we are ready now. So this will be R2. This will be R3, and this will be R4. Similarly, this is column number 1. So this is column 1. This is column 2. This will be column 3, that is C3, and this will be C4. So our entire circuit is ready. I'll name it later. So let us first save this. So we'll go to File, we'll go to Save As. Okay, so we'll save in the appropriate folder. So let me just name this file as nor base rom 1 dot asc. So always it has to be dot asc file. And now we are ready to simulate this so that a file is saved now. So we'll go to simulate and we'll click on the run. Here we can add the stop time as around 10 milliseconds. So this will be around 10 milliseconds. And now you can click on OK. So the screen has come. Now what we will do is we have labeled everything, right? For R1, R2, R3, R4 are my inputs. VDD is the power supply, and C1, C2, C3, C4 are the outputs. So basically we have to plot the 4 inputs and the 4 outputs. So what we will do is in this blank screen, we'll divide it into 8 plain plots. So let me just do it one by one. So this is 4, 5 plain plots. This is 6, and this is around 8. Yeah. So first I will plot R1. Next I will plot R2. Next I will plot R3, and next I will plot R4. Okay. So let me just change this color to a darker one so that it's visible. So what we will do is only one thing is left is that we have to add the dot model statement. So we'll do that. Let me just fast forward the video. Okay, I have added the dot model statement. So let us concentrate on it. So basically what I have done is I have added a dot model statement. So we know that if we have a PMOS transistor, we have to select its width as twice as the NMOS transistor. The reason being the mobilities of the NMOS and the PMOS are never same. That's why we do it. We have selected the threshold voltage for the NMOS as 1 volt and for the PMOS as around -1 volt. Now let us concentrate on the output waveforms. So far we have plotted the 4 inputs. So that's what I was saying over here, that all the 4 inputs over here, only one at a time will be active. So let's say this R1. So when R1 is active, others are off. Similarly R2. When R2 is active, all the other rows are off, R3 and R4. So this will be giving you a perfect example. Okay, now let us continue further. Let me just give the time period around a little more than touch 10, around 10. Let me just give it around 12. Yeah. So let us check what will happen. Yeah. So it's absolutely fine. Again, we are going back to the next case. So just to give you a feel. Now we are ready to plot the outputs. That is, we'll plot now C1. Next, we will plot C2. Next is C3, and the last is the column 4, that is C4. So this 4 are the outputs, that is C1, C2, C3, and C4. C3 is a little light. Let me just see if we can select a darker color. Yeah, now it is ready. Now these are my outputs. We have to validate this output, and from this circuit, this was the circuit which we have implemented, that is 4 cross 4 NOR based ROM array. I have written the heading also, and let us check this scenario over here. So let us concentrate on this table over here. I hope that you all can see this table. Yeah. So let us concentrate on this. So for the first case, we have row 1. So we have 1, 0, 0, 0. And for that particular case, we are not checking this condition. When all the rows are 0, basically, all the columns will be 1. So why is that? We'll come back to it a little later. We are first checking the condition, this condition over here. When the row is 1, 0, 0, 0. So 1, 0, or you can check it this way also. 1, 0, 0, 0. So this is that row 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, and its the output should be 0, 0, 1, 0. So let us check that. So here it is 0, here also it is 0, here it is 1, and here also it is 0. So it is indeed 0, 0, 1, 0. It is giving 0, 0, 1, 0. Let us check the amplitude. Always it's a good practice to check the amplitude. So the higher peak is around 5 volts, and let us check the lower peak over here, and the lower peak is around 1 volt. So this is very, very important. And why it is around 1 volt over here? So just for a moment think, we have a PMOS transistor over here. So PMOS transistor is a good transmitter of logic 1, but it will degrade, it will not pass logic 0 properly. So we are giving over here, it's basically acting as a pass transistor. So we are giving over here 1, right? That is VDD. And at the gate terminal is permanently grounded. So we have activated this PMOS transistor for all the time. So it will pass at the output strong logic 1, but a weak logic 0. So the weak logic 0 which will pass it around max till, it will minimum it output the logic 0, it will pass it around VTOP. So VTOP around here we have it as around -1. So phi in the magnitude terms we have, that is over here we have it as 4. That is phi minus that. So the minimum value, not phi minus that, sorry, the minimum logic 0 level which we have over here is VTOP, and that is around 1 volt. And this is because of this VTOP. Okay, so that's why we are getting the output around here, the logic 0 is around 1 volt over here. So be very careful about these magnitudes. It should be exactly proper. So this is correct in our case because PMOS transistor is a weak transmitter of logic uh, 0. Now let us check the column number 2. So row we have it as 0, 1, 0, 0. So it is 0, 1, 0, 0. Let us check the column. So the column will be having over here as 1, 0, 0, 1. So let us check that. Yeah, 1, 0, 0, 1. So it is correct actually. And let us check the next. Row 3 is having as 0, 0, 1, 0. So this is my row 3 data, 0, 0, 1, 0. So basically this way we can also check 0, 0, 1, 0. So 0, 0, 1, 0. And the corresponding column is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So it is over here 0, 1, that is column 3, 0, 1. So that is correct. And the last is C4. So the fourth row is having 0, 0, 0, 1. So this is my fourth row, 0, 0, 0, 1. And the corresponding column will be 1, 1, 1, 0. So let us check that. 1, 1, 1, 0. So it is absolutely correct, no problem with it. Now let us check the condition when all the rows are 0. So if the rows connected are 0, that means all the NMOS transistors are off. And if all the NMOS transistors are off, the C1, C2, C3, C4 will be pulled up towards VDD. And that's what is shown over here. For all the NMOS transistors off, that is for all the rows equal to 0, all the columns are equal to 1, as you can see over here. So that is absolutely correct. And here it is repeated. So this is also absolutely correct. So no problem with the output. So this is the way we can cross check the output. Only thing is here there is one limitation that the output over here you can check it for C3 also, C2 also. So C2 also the logic 0 amplitude is around 1 because the PMOS doesn't pass logic 0 properly, and upper logic 1 it passes perfectly. Let us check for C3 also. So for C3 also it's 1 and the higher is around 5. So again the PMOS is passing 1 properly and 0 not so good. And C4 is 5 and 1. So all is giving around the higher magnitude here is 5 and the logic 0 is around 1 volt for all the cases, that is from C1 to C4. So that's the way how you build up a 4 cross 4, how you build up a 4 cross 4 NOR based ROM array, and these are the possible outputs. That is the 4 inputs are R1, R2, R3 and R4, and the 4 outputs are C1, C2, C3 and C4. And we have verified this table. So this column data can keep on changing, but you can design the circuitry in such a manner that the output is in consistent with your design. So that's it for this topic over here. So we have designed today 4 cross 4 NOR based ROM, and in that we have seen that we have seen that we have used the PMOS transistors at the pull-up device. So also one more thing I want to add over here is that it is not different than your pseudo NMOS transistor. So basically the pull-up network should be a little less weaker compared to your pull-down network. So basically what I mean to say is the pull-up network is always on. So if any one of these NMOS transistors are on, it should pull the output node to ground. So basically that is what is the case over here. So here we have selected the pull down network that is consisting of your NMOS transistors to be much stronger compared to your pull up network. So that is the important strategy over here. If you don't select this, you might get an output. You might get a correct logic output, but the voltage levels won't be proper. So maybe in the midway you will get, that is from 5 to 2.5 you may get the output. So that will be incorrect. That is why you have to carefully select these parameters such that the NMOS transistors are much stronger pull down as compared to the pull up PMOS transistors. So that note you have to take care of. And the only limitation of this circuit is the logic 0 is not 0. It is around close to VTOP. That is the threshold voltage of the PMOS circuit. So that's it for this topic. So we have discussed 4 cross 4 NOR based ROM array. Next time we'll see in the next online lecture 4 cross 4 NAND based ROM array. So thank you for your patience and have a good day.